It's Christine Wilson and Saphira Galoob, and you'll thank us later. Tune in every week and hang out with us because we're a lot of fun.
And no topics off the record, we decided. We are open to talking about everything together with a bit of a sense of humor, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of grace, and always being wiser on the other end. Bring it on, girls and boys.
You know what? You'll thank me later that I'm telling you about this. You'll thank me. They're going to hate us, Saphira. It's going to be nuts. Good morning. Hi, guys. Saphira, I can tell you were running into our recording session looking a little like something just happened. Where were you?
Well, since we decided that we were going to say all things honestly, I was just at my secret place for keeping my skin young.
Ooh,
as
tell
you can
me.
tell, well, I got a treatment that is not very common, and we can go through this. I got it's called mesotherapy treatment.
Huh.
It's a combination, and well, I'll go through it, but I just got a meso, which is why I have 500 prick pins or 120 or 100, whatever. So I look like I kind of got the measles at this moment, but it'll go away tomorrow.
What does it do?
So
Does it make collagen production?
So, I mean, we just want to jump right in on.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you about the thing that I did that pricked my skin 8,000 times, and I will never do it again. I want to hear about yours.
So, obviously, today's topic is things we do to make us look younger, and we can talk about like the exercise and the diet and or the nutrition and the sleep. But I have a very active skin prevention and anti-aging regime. And I'm not gonna lie, some people spend money to go to Disney. I spend money on my skin, and
I love it.
And I do something every month. I do something different every month. So what you're watching me on is I use my blood, which is either a platelet-rich plasma or a platelet-rich fibrin. PRF, and I use it to do different techniques. So, for example, I will use it PRP or PRF with microneedling, and microneedling is a little like when you go out and aerate your grass. This aerates your skin, and then you lay your own blood on top of it. And essentially, people, I think they've called it vampire facial, but essentially they pull the blood. They put it in a centrifuge, they spin the blood, and then either it separates to a kind of what looks like a yellow mucousy look.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's like almost like a fatty thing. Yeah.
Asthma. Or the fibrin is when you don't completely separate it and there's a little blood left in it. So that's actually looks a little bit scarier. But basically, the microneedling, it lays on top of your skin. Well, I now, because of all my travels, discovered that the Europeans, and particularly the Eastern Europeans, they do a treatment that you do not find in the US called mesotherapy. And mesotherapy is where they take your platelets, either in plasma or fibrin. They can do it just on its own, or they can dilute some hyaluronic acid in it, and even just a stickle of Botox. And they basically put it in almost, it doesn't go super deep. So it's just basically on the dermis. But basically, all these little shots, like there's probably maybe 120 or 150 or 200 from my forehead down to my all the way down to my décolletage, and so it injects that your own product plus some hyaluronic acid plus a little bit of Botox, and it softens all of the lines and makes you glow for about 4 months. Because you're also damaging the top of the skin, it does generate collagen, so it generates some regenerative activity underneath the top of the dermis that helps support a strong skin. So that's the mesotherapy that I had. You can also do mesotherapy with just nutrients. You can do mesotherapy with just your blood, but it's really hard to find somebody in the States that does mesotherapy. I've got to say, it's a European.
It sounds great. Well, I mentioned to you that I wanted to do PRP when I was in Spain, because I know you have a wonderful doctor there that I got to meet when I was there last time, because under my eyes, it just looks so like there's no collagen anymore, right? So the skin is just really, really thin, and then you can see all the wrinkles, and it gives you sort of that like sunken eye effect, which I think for me, because I have big eyes and they've always had dark, they're pretty dark. That's like the biggest thing that just makes me look tired. And I'm like, I can handle like, obviously I know everything is being pulled by gravity and that's part of aging, but like the eyes are just such a big thing. And I also, would love to have to avoid or delay an upper blepharoplasty, I can't even say,
But a
and a lower.
I'll just think a bleph is not a big deal. A bleph is a very quick procedure.
My mom looked like hell after hers. Let me tell you.
Here's the thing. When did she get it, Christine?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Things have improved so much.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it is like I'm not saying you can almost go back to work, but they really have made it so.
She could not have gone to public. She looked like a horror movie.
No. The upper bleph is super easy now. And some folks know that I grew up with my father as a surgeon, and he was a plastic surgeon. He's a reconstructive surgeon, 82 years old, still practicing medicine. And so I kind of grew up with all this.
Yeah. Well, I'm very jealous of the fact that you've had one, someone to consult with, two, someone to get free work from. And that like, it just gives you probably a deeper knowledge of like what's out there, what can happen. Right. I did Morpheus 8 and I do think the results were good. So that ultimately, helps with collagen production and your skin quality. But it was 3 sessions. They get more and more painful. And they are so painful that you're literally like sucking on gas while they're doing it. And
they didn't numb you.
Oh, they numb you. It's really painful. And I will say on the 3rd one, I was like, I'm so freaking glad this is done. It's also not cheap, right? It's
no.
So,
well, and the thing about all of these treatments is like your skin is like, it's a race towards aging. And so there's no like where it undoes the clock. You can't just do one thing. It's like, right. People who have a really, who are kind of fighting the aging or delaying the aging, and by the way, folks out there are like, oh, just embrace it, Saphira. Like you do you and I'll do me. Okay.
Right.
I understand that I've got some issues around my skin, but this is the way I want to do it. So stop judging. For those in the audience who think that I spend too much and I'm just too vain, stop judging.
Well, hey, wait, these industries are so big that you and I are not the only ones. I mean, there are people that are wrinkling and growing old gracefully, and that's their choice. And I love it. I mean, my grandmother, I always thought she was so beautiful with her wrinkles. I love them. But for me, I stare at my face on Zoom all day long. Right. I'm in sales. I present myself. I also am very conscious of the bias against aging people in business, right? So when you walk in and you look too old and too out of touch, people tune out. So there is something to staying in business as an entrepreneur. Yeah.
There's absolutely stigma. So, and I can talk about, I think women have it harder. I'm just going to say that. I don't know, Nicole, what you think, but I think women, there's more stigma against us for sure.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you said, fighting the stigma against aging in the workplace, I was like, especially as women.
Yes.
Aging is very different in the business industry than women aging.
Well, yeah, we've all seen the gray-haired man at the front of the boardroom table, right?
Expected.
Yeah, right. I think the biggest thing that I have now so I do Botox. I've done a little bit of filler here and there, but I don't currently have any. My biggest thing is that like when I was Nicole's age, people would be like, yeah, moisturize, use sunscreen, whatever. But it wasn't anything like it is now. There was like, nobody was saying use a retinol product, not just on your zits. Use,
vitamin C every day. Make sure you're using hyaluronic acid. Make sure you are wearing sunscreen religiously. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, obviously, if you're alive in the United States or in the world, I mean, the Koreans have they've just they own all of that. And I totally bought what they're selling, and I continue to buy what they're selling pretty ridiculously and religiously.
When I was just gonna say, like, it's grown so much, like, from when I was a teenager to now. Like, my nieces are turning, 15, 12, even, like, the ones that are 10. What they wanted for Christmas was skincare. And I was like, you're 10.
My granddaughter is in the 7th grade. we went to Sephora. I said, what's your products? And she goes, well, I exfoliate twice a week. I use a hyaluronic acid. I use niacinamide. And I'm like, you're 13, you know?
Huh.
So and she's got access to these products because one, she sees them on socials, but she's educated on them. But then she goes into a Sephora, her favorite store, and she can see the different product categories, and she's like really into it. And her skin is impeccable, and they're all going to look younger, longer, probably. But yeah, we did not have that delineation of opportunity when we were.
I mean, even when I was a teenager, I mean, I was fortunate to not have bad acne. Some of my sisters did, but I didn't. But never in my life did I think that I had to spend or felt like I had to spend such a long time on an evening skincare routine. I'm just hoping my dad's mom, my grandma, she'll be 86 this year and her skin is amazing. And I'm like, just as long as I got her hip bones, so maybe I got that,
A lot of it is hereditary. A lot of it. And I will tell you the other thing, and this actually ties to another episode. Alcohol isn't just about weight. It is, I can tell my friends who drink a lot versus not. I think there's probably a hydration piece, but like you're putting toxins in your body. 100%.
Yeah.
And when you take like a 30-day kind of hiatus, skin is the first thing that you notice that changes.
Yeah. I think, I think for me, when I look at pictures of myself, even just a couple years ago, so like I was doing skincare stuff, then COVID hit and it kind of all just, and all the sun that I've gotten, I mean, I've already done a lot of damage, right? So not only am I trying to stave off aging, but I'm also trying to fix a whole lot of years of mistakes. And I still love the sun. I still want to be at the beach and in the sun, but I'm much more conscious of sunscreen and moisturizing and not ever letting myself burn. But I will say the easiest thing for me at a lower cost, it's not cheap by any means, is the Botox on my forehead. Just because as I've been told, I have a highly expressive face. And so folks with highly expressive faces raise their eyebrows a lot. They squint their eyebrows together. They smile, they frown, they make a lot of faces. All of that you do on your face obviously creates that constant crease in the space where you make those faces. And so, I just had so many wrinkles that bothered me. But I am sad because I can't walk around with the Zoom face touch-up everywhere I go because it really does make a difference. I mean, I can turn it down right now and you guys are going to be like, oh, look, she just aged in like, look at this. Look at that. Just aged. You can see much more.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, for those not looking on video, it's not as bad as Christine. I mean, but we are all hyper aware of our own idiosyncrasies. That's for sure.
I definitely was not as aware of my face and my features before COVID because I just was on Zoom here and there. I will say spending 6 hours or 4 hours or 8 hours a day looking at yourself really messes with
how you
feel.
I could not agree more. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then obviously social media, right? So so many people's pictures are so fine-tuned and perfected and the lighting is just right and all the things. So then it makes you very aware when you post a picture and you're like, oh gosh, I look terrible next to that.
Actually, that is one of the motivations for me actually being off social, because when people see me in real life, I don't want them to have some sort of impression that I have a certain look. I mean, I do have a headshot or 2 headshots or whatever, but the idea, I mean, it's all expectation management, right? I want them to see me in real life and be like, oh, you're actually a lot better looking than I expected. I will also say for folks that are in, and remember that what is lovely about, you'll thank us later, is we are 3 decades represented. Nicole's in her 30s.
No, Nicole's in her 20s.
What?
Yeah. Courtney's 30. I'll be 30 this year.
Okay.
So I'm not 30 yet.
Nicole,
we have 4 generations.
I thought it was switched. So for the 20s, Courtney's the 30s, Christine's the 40s, and then I'm the 50s. And I will say, I think skin quality is so much important for aging skin because makeup and aging skin are not friends. They are very, they don't live, they're not good neighbors. They don't cohabitate together. So skin quality, even if you've got wrinkles, just having really hydrated, clean skin that you don't have to put a lot of makeup on because the makeup just looks bad. It just looks
I
great.
do think makeup is getting better. And there is a woman on TikTok that talks about makeup for women over 40. And one of the biggest things like I've learned is not to just take my under eye concealer and squish it into all the creases under my eyes. So they actually have you put it here and a little here, and then you use a brush.
Yeah.
So like so many different techniques for not just basically putting all the gook into your wrinkles and basically saying, hey, look at all these wrinkles. I also have found that a tinted moisturizer is like, where the hell was that my whole life?
And
I could have used that for like 20 years when I was using powders and my skin was dry.
and they all have SPFs in them now. So
Yes.
you know,
I mean, a tinted moisturizer, a little bit of
SPF,
blush, and some mascara, and I
sure.
can walk out the door.
Yeah.
When if you do your concealer, like angled up and you take it all the way to your hairline, it lifts your eye, like the under eye. That has been I am not a makeup girl. Like my sisters, yes. And they're all so much older than me that no one like taught me anything, but TikTok lately, let me tell you,
Yes.
that one has changed my existence. So
All right. So if we were to say to folks, let's think about the critical steps as you age. Okay. So I'm in my teens or my 20s. It's all about sunscreen, hydrating, vitamin C, a retinol product if you can,
That's not even necessary, honestly. I mean, exfoliation, consistent exfoliation, so 3 times a week, that's what you need, but it is absolutely sunscreen. And
Yeah.
actually, what you put in your body comes out on your face. That is 100%.
Now, I have a question for you. At what age does the red light therapy come in? Because
Oh, yeah.
I just got a red light mask. Nicole just got a red light, I think like a wand kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. When do we need a red light mask? Because they're not cheap if you get a good one.
No. I mean, I think what I understand about the red light mask is it does help with collagen, but it also just helps with skin tone and skin quality. And I'll say that as long as you are, and this is again my experience on myself, is if your skin is good, keeping it good as long as possible, which is, no sunspots, keeping your pores nice and clean, keeping, basically a good 2-day regime of your skin care, you probably don't need that red light mask until your 40s.
Okay. So
Fully.
in your 40s is when you really start to get, you got to start investing.
Right.
But if you've been doing things well for your 20s and 30s, it's going to be a lot less expensive.
Yeah. That's right. And I do, the concept of, I'm so glad that filler, I mean, in different parts of the country, I'm from Southern Oklahoma, and filler in Southern Oklahoma is still really popular. And but the women look like, what's the name of the Japanese anime?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Everything's too exaggerated.
A very exaggerated lip and cheek, and the lash is still quite long, and so all the faces look the same.
Yeah.
I'm actually relieved that is kind of not in vogue, at least on the coasts. Like,
Yeah.
there's I can tell you guys some tricks if your lips are feeling thin, or just because I think that, or your neck is feeling exaggerated. There's some things you can do with Botox it's really amazing to have your injectionist do that. Like, for example, a lip flip with no filler is fantastic.
Yeah.
Treating your plastisma, which is like one of the things that makes the neck, what gives away a woman's aging is her neck.
Oh yeah. All the hanging and the wrinkles.
But even more so, like for me, is the things that make me look veiny. Well, you can treat that with Botox and it just quiets it down. You can put Botox in your hairline and it gives you a slight lift. And yeah, folks out there, I don't want to use Botox, then don't use it. But if you want to be able to use it in other places than just your forehead, you can use it, for example, underneath your jawline.
I just had it on, she did it around my mouth, because one of the things that she noticed is like, I can't even frown now, guys, but I had a very exaggerated frown, which what it did is it did some weird stuff to my chin. And then that was creating all sorts of weird issues. And I don't have a particularly strong chin. So it's one of those things where it was kind of creating really weird distortions around my mouth and my chin. And so the Botox was great. It's really changed how
I agree that Botox, I mean, I definitely can tell friends of mine whose faces are completely flat. And it only moves on their faces, their mouth, and it does look a little weird. So I think, the trick is to find a protocol where you still look like yourself, but just a nice version of yourself. And believe me, it is a fine line. It is a super, super fine line.
I have noticed in Hollywood that there were a lot of people I'm just going to throw a name out there and not to shade her in any way, but like who overdid it, let's say Lindsay Lohan, who now they seem to have like maybe the doctors have figured out how to step it back. And she looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, she looks much younger than her age, but she doesn't look sort of fake and overdone like she did 10 years ago. So I think the doctors are getting better at this more natural look of instead of it being such an extreme and scary, we don't want to be Joan Rivers, we don't want
to I mean, that's that thing that we do not want to look like a reptile. And the other problem that women, all people have is that as you age, your bone in your face deteriorates. So you've got a couple things. One, the muscles around your mouth get more active, which is what creates a longer line between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip. So it's not that your lips are thinning. It's actually that the muscles in the mouth are, that's why they put the Botox around there to quiet it. And so it's not that your lips are smaller. It's just the red part circles under. And so that's what it does. So that's something that happens. Your bone density deteriorates, and that's why people look skinnier. And then that's why people are getting filler, which, by the way, if you want to have a facelift at some point, you do not want to have a bunch of filler in there because your surgeon is going to be pissed that he has to dig it all out. So very, 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 very sparingly with the filler. And then the other thing that just naturally happens is that the skin thins and we produce so much less collagen. So actually my injection is some of the woman who does, she's like, I want you more. She's like, I can tell from the last time you were here, you're not having enough protein, and I can tell you're dehydrated. So that protein forward diet with extra collagen, she actually recommended that the collagen not be heated up because she says that kind of deteriorates the collagen. I'm going to do some research on it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some research on it to see. I'll report back. But it's a little bit like the whole thing around an anti-aging. It's like if someone wants to lose weight, they're like, well, I only ate a salad on Saturday, and then they went back to their normal habits.
Right.
Being a healthy and productive skincare routine requires a pretty consistent protocol, and it has to involve morning and evening. Every quarter or every 5 months, something doesn't have to be crazy. And then what you're putting in your mouth, again, comes out in your skin.
I love it. Well, this was very helpful. And I hope that you all will thank us later when you have perfectly glowing skin on your Zoom calls in your 40s. And you're like, thank God Christine and Saphira told us. Nicole's going to look like she's 29 for 20 more years. So, right? All right. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.